Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. I am Paul Sisler, and this is In the Moment. Today, we have Shadow Fox. We're going to talk about seeds in the wind. And our special guest is Diana Bishop, an author, a mentor, just an overall fabulous human being. But before I get to them, I'm going to be taking about 2 weeks off. So this week of shows is my last week for about 2 weeks. I'm going to take a 2-week hiatus. I am finishing up my book. So I will be basically taking a vacation from the podcast and putting intensive work in on my book. And hopefully I can have that done within the next few weeks. So with that said, hello, Shadow Fox.
Hello, everyone. Oh my goodness. Yes, and it's a well-deserved hiatus, and I can't wait for you to hurry up and finish this book. So yeah.
Thank you, especially since it's not your genre and you're just loving every minute of it.
Oh, yeah, it truly isn't. It's not something I'd ever be drawn to actually pick up and read or anything. It's just not my genre. But I'll tell you what. Hanging on every word.
Yes, just to let the audience know, every Sunday I read a chapter or two to Shadow Fox and Diana just to get their feedback, and they're always disappointed because I stop.
Yeah, kind of like a
And I
little
leave them with a cliffhanger.
cliffhanger. Yes.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
you really gonna make us wait?
Yep. All right, let's say hello to our guest, Diana Bishop. Hello.
Hi. And you know what? I'm going to wait until you're through with the entire series before I buy even book one. Because if I start book one and it finishes and I'm going to know I'm going to want to know the rest. So I'm going to have to for the entire
Oh,
series.
yeah.
It's a delicious story, y'all. It truly, truly is. I don't care if you like sweets, this one you'll like. It's a
Yeah.
delicious story.
It truly is. And Diana, hello. Thank you for being here. This segment that we're
Thank you.
speaking about today is seeds in the wind, and I think it is just a beautiful premise because Paul's going to be taking that hiatus for a couple of weeks,
Mhm.
and the three of us were talking, and I thought that it would be a good time to put in a few seeds for thought and for ideas that people can work with for the next couple weeks. So yeah, I think that was going to be pretty kind of cool, especially
Yes.
when you guys hear what Diana had done, and I loved it. And for those who do tune in and listen to Journey Within, uh, we will not be having that show on the space on Twitter today. We're also taking a little hiatus for a little while, so but those of you that are aware and know what we do on the show, like creating the intention circles, so on and so forth, this also comes back in through our intentions and the love and the beauty and the grace. And so, therefore, um, Paul, I was just gonna, check with you, make sure that you had that info ready. I have a small little segment um, that I would like to play for you. It's on YouTube. It's a YouTube channel, and it's Cryon. It's Kryon, and this segment is called "The Lineage of Your DNA." The segment that I'm speaking about, it starts. They have like I think he's got like 5 segments in there, and it's Lee Carroll that channels Cryon. And in this one YouTube video, there's like I think like maybe 5 segments in there, and so the time frame, if you guys would like to listen to it at your own leisure, I would highly recommend it. It's a great little reference point. there may be people that may find the information very elementary, and there'll be others who may find it extremely profound. So just based on whatever you've already learned and you're aware of, it just goes comment. And Diana and I were talking about a couple weeks ago.
Shadow Fox, get closer to your mic. I can barely hear you.
Really? Oh my
There we
goodness.
go. Now it's better.
Is
You
that
got
better now?
muffled.
Is that better now?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And we were kind of talking about, going back to the foundations. And so with this, I'm going to actually play, it's just a 5-minute segment, and it's to start us out. So I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to hear this.
Okay, now I have it up on the monitor so everybody can see. It's Cryon April 2023, the lineage of your DNA. And if you go down, you can see the channel Cryon. So feel free to check that out. And the only reason why we're not playing it on here is that it's 5 minutes long, and I'll probably get blacked out for copyright. So
right. And so
play it on our
we
phone.
can definitely put the YouTube channel, maybe we can put it into the comments. Because I just think that it really sets up a great foundation for people to jump forward on. And so in our segment, what Diana and I and Paul are going to be discussing are these seeds. How do we work with them? How can we utilize different information coming forward in our own lives? But are you guys ready? Should I hit play?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, so everybody knows this is a YouTube channel. It's Cryon. It's Cryon is channeled by Lee Carroll. All right, so this was on in April of 2023. It was about what a couple weeks ago. So here you go.
Yet again, when you change, the things around you change. It's the example we have given many times of how the field works. What you have that changes in you affects everyone. And it's not just perhaps those around you in your family or your partnerships or your businesses. These things that you have, that you place upon yourselves and develop yourselves, go into a field that literally surrounds the planet. You might say that individually, you change something which is much, much greater and bigger. Individually, the drops in the ocean, they change what the ocean is. If you think about how many drops there are, the salinity of them or whatever, it happened many times for them to be what they are, but each single drop made a difference. It's different with the field because certain kinds of drops affect the field in a greater way than others. For instance, you'll say, well, there are those putting anger in the field. Yes, there are. And there are those putting compassion and kindness in the field. Yes, there are. Mm-hmm. So here's what I'll tell you that has been told to you over and over. One is greatly more powerful than the other. One is an emotion. The other one is magnificence. Can you guess which is which? It's time for you to plant something. Let me make a suggestion on what it might be. Each one of you are magnificent. Each one of you carry the attributes of mastery. What would it be like for you and the planet if you took out those seeds of mastery and planted them right now? And here's what you can think to yourself, or here's what you can conceive of. You can conceptualize this. The seeds are of your own mastery. I have defined what is involved in this. You think differently. You act differently. You're more mature. Things in your life start to change. You're more relaxed. And you start to plant those seeds right now. And you see yourself pushing them into the ground, covering them with dirt, watering them, and the sun is out now in a way it never has been before. And you start to see results almost immediately. The harvest happens simultaneously with the planting. That is extremely multidimensional. No time is involved. And immediately you start seeing the results in your own life. You've taken an action that you conceived of. Mastery. What happens with mastery? Mastery is a slow development inside you of your magnificence. And you start to feel it. It comes through intuition, changes in the way that you see others, the changes on how you act when certain things take place, and what you see that you wish to do that might be different from last year or even last week.
Oh my.
That's mastery. And what happens next is the start of something grand. As you begin to harvest that energy that you have planted, that you brought with you for this time, right now, when the light is starting to come out, that energy goes everywhere. It's designed to, dear ones, those seeds, those metaphoric, multidimensional seeds of mastery, they zing out of the ground and they go into the field, they go around the world, and it makes a difference. It makes a difference. This is the invitation for you right now to conceptualize taking something that came with you, that you know you brought. This is the seed of magnificence, of mastery. And you decide, I'm going to plant it now. See yourself pushing it into the ground, covering it with the soil, watering it, and up starts coming something beautiful. Perhaps the first thing you hear is music. Maybe you feel the benevolence of your guides hugging you and the kindness pouring into your heart, perhaps that you've needed all along. And you start feeling a change in you, in your body, in how you think. Welcome to the shift. Welcome to the change I told you about, that you came here for.
And there you go. You know, this when you really think about it, and you know, Diana, when on Spaces in the Journey Within, when we would do the intention circle, he actually just really spoke about that, right? That intention going out, the drop
First
of
thing I thought
water.
of. Absolutely.
Right. And again, when we take a look at this, so it's not just us doing, actually participating, correct? I mean, many people are speaking about this, whether it be the channelers that are bringing this information, other people are teaching. And so this component of that magnificent, the seeds of our very own spirit, right? We get to put out there in many different compassionate ways. And he says there's some that are angry and frustrated. Yeah, that's going out there. But then he asks a question, right? Which one do you think carries more resonance and power? Oh, my. And so, very briefly, Diana, I'd like to bring you in, and I'd like you to kind of speak about what you experienced just this last week. And it has to do with that creativity, that beauty, and that resonance, because you intuitively stepped in and did this. And it goes along the same lines exactly about these seeds, right?
Right.
Seeds in the wind. So
Absolutely.
that magnificence of yours, show us, tell us, how did these seeds get planted, and what are the seeds you speak of?
I go onto my patio and every morning, and then I am doing my grounding into Mother Earth and all of that. And one of the things that I felt the breeze pick up, and I was like, okay, I know the way the wind works. It circles around the earth. You know, they call it the jet stream, right? Well, I just sent my love out on that breeze. I sent my love out on it, and I was like, take this wherever you go. Take this love and drop it wherever you go.
Oh, And you know what? That was something, because I remember when you were speaking about it, because we were having a private conversation, and when you spoke about it, it was like, wow, should have had a V8. All this, it was like, you know, when when our perceptions change in different capacities, when we become aware of different components, guess what? It builds upon itself. And again, he in on Cryon, okay, Lee Carroll channels Cryon, and even in this entire, like, each video, they're different times. This one's a longer one. I think it's like 2 hours or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
And this one has different segments. And just that alone, he even brings in, and he's talking about our DNA, the lineage, where we came from and what we're, the capabilities that we have, that magnificence of spirit. Um, it's a great foundation, I think. Um, so I don't know. What did you think about it? You had a chance to listen to it a little bit, Diana.
Oh, I thought it was amazing. The seed that they basically did. They put their seed out in the wind, in a sense, and here we are. You know,
Uh-huh.
and parts that at the very beginning, the earlier parts of it, where he's talking about what science has actually discovered about DNA,
Uh-huh.
and what they are figuring out, that now the part of the DNA that they thought was just sort of
Jump.
useless, void, junk, exactly, is actually encrypted code.
Yeah.
It is Akashic record of us.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
I so when we're looking at this larger scope, and we'll give you a couple of little tool things to work with, but that that field. Okay, and he even speaks about it in like, I don't know, it's like an hour and 12 minutes in or something. He talks about the field and sensing those codes, right? I think that may be the part where he was kind of talking a little bit about part of that intuition and that knowingness and the DNA, and he's tying it all together. But let me, just for the people that perhaps have not been able to come into our space, can you kind of, why don't you, I'll let you explain what the intention circle is,
mm,
and how we work with it, because I think it's important to kind of tie these things together.
um, the way I see it, it's okay. If the entirety of all that ever is and ever was and ever will be is an ocean,
Mhm.
each one of us is our own drop.
Uh-huh.
And so if you get, one drop, you have a very small amount. But if you actually pool a few of them together, you have more.
Mhm.
And that's what the intention circle is. It is a gathering of drops, spirit. It is a gathering of spirits that can bring their own portion of the entirety of the whole together. Now, I always say this in the space, when we say that if you take a pebble and you throw it in a calm pool of water, it's going to make a little ripple. If you take a boulder and drop it into a calm pool of water, it's going to make a tidal wave. And
Yes.
that's what an intention circle is. It is a gathering of people together to create that boulder of energy. And the energy that we do in the intention circle, it can be that envisioning the world made new, and the way you would like to see it. It could also be just sending love out to counter a lot of the negativity that he discussed in the thing that he's doing, that is in the cosmic consciousness. So which is what we oftentimes wind up doing, is sending that love energy out, because it's a great desire to create this balancing and this wave out there. And that's what the intention circle, we go quiet for 2 minutes, and everybody is called to focus on this and pull up and send out their love energy in whatever ways. I have seen it myself as a rain shower over the entire planet, or a wave of light, like a tidal wave just coming through, or a dust storm, but it's light and it's just going across every continent. I've seen it where it just is like, you can see it, envision what like the houses of Congress look like, and see this wave of light come sweeping through, and just watching everybody sitting there stunned and so basking in love and energy, and this is what we have as a power to create. And I'm sorry, I'm starting to sound impassioned, but that's because we can do this.
Yes. Yes. And, when we speak about that as far as love, recognize that it can be sending out that of integrity, honesty,
Awareness.
compassion. Yes. And within this circle of light, which is our intent, information can be harnessed. This is where it's like, instead of just being in this little box and thinking, well, this is only the way it is. I mean, even, for centuries, eons, people have prayed. What is prayer? Is that not an intention circle? I mean, when you really think about it, whether you're at home and you're praying, or perhaps you come together and other people are praying, maybe perhaps for like healing. Um, I must say, I have to thank many, many people because my husband had taken um, ill and he was hospitalized, and he almost died Tuesday night, last Tuesday, not last night, Tuesday, a week ago, and pulmonary embolisms, and there was his leg, his lung, and a few small ones in his brain. And I'll tell you, I called in a few people and asked for some guidance and some prayer energy work for the highest and the best. Not directly the way I would like it to happen, but what was best for him. And again, that's where the intent is so much different, because in this way it allows creator to create, right? Not specifically our will. And so um, one of my elders, I had called, and she called forth 12 people in the community. And there was, they held pipe ceremony and called them into the pipe. And again, that's all the ancestors, that's the prayers. And this was something that Lee Two Hawks could actually, kind of grab onto and hold on to. Is that anything different than a prayer circle, right? Circle of light, an intention circle, a fire circle. All of these things all stem and come together. It is that field of code. It is that field of information. It is that field of love, compassion, integrity. And so when, people, sometimes people have a hard time wrapping their head around it, I think. I think they make it a lot harder than it really is. I mean,
I think one of the things is that perhaps the human instinct is to complicate something,
mhm.
to make it more than it is. Just do this. Pick up a dandelion in your mind, blow on it,
Yes,
and sending out beautiful grace.
yes. And those dandelions, oh my gosh, look at the seed. That's all healing medicine. The dandelion is. It's like, oh my gosh, right? So, and I might add, when uh, they sent my husband down and they were getting some test results and stuff, they found a mass in his lower abdomen, and they were going to have to go in and do some exploratory surgery, but they had to stabilize him first. They took him down. They were retesting to get more clarification before they went in to do surgery. The mass was gone, and the doctors were scratching, literally scratching, well, where to go. And again, this is also on Lee Tuhawk's part to be open and receptive to allowing, this healing energy to help, and along with his, higher self and the I am presence, choices had to be made, and they were made. So he says, yeah, I got a little more teaching to do before I'm out of here. So, yeah, so it was a trying week. But I think this is where we always come back down to our foundations, right, Diana? I mean, when you take a look at it, in any capacity, yeah, did it throw me off? Absolutely, you know, absolutely. But
Right.
I also trusted that everything would turn out the way that it was supposed to. Doesn't mean that my emotions weren't still like, frazzled a little bit and all that adrenaline running through my system. Um, but I must say, I had some very, very dear friends that, a couple late night phone calls were very appropriate, and I thank you both for that.
Wait, I'm sorry, Paul. Were you about to talk? Oh, okay. You look like for a second you went to start to go. Because I think about when it comes down to the foundations, there's a reason why it is at the base. It sets the groundwork for all that's going to happen. So you get to if I have to make an analogy for it, the fourth floor and everything, and then you realize that that there was something that occurred there, perhaps that it got the wind picked up too much, so you have to go back down to the first floor where the foundation is, and you have to acquaint yourself with things that set you up to be able to do this. The foundations always are imperative, and the sad part is that as humans we tend to look at, okay, well, I have progression. If I'm having to go back to spirituality 101 in order to understand something way out here, they feel like they haven't progressed, they haven't mastered it. No, you go back and you pick back up, and all it does is look at a linear timeline. You've got your start here, your foundation, and then you go here, and then you've learned all this stuff here, right? And then you loop back and
Yep.
pick it up and embrace it and entrench it within you. Because what happens? This is how the distractions of this human existence, the limitations that we have been given to know and understand, were ingrained within us. They start from when we were children, and then they start to put this stuff into our heads that, we have to see ourselves as this, oh, God, no, God, but that's not what we're taught.
Yes.
And it
And
takes a long
everything
time to ingrain that in someone.
and everything is cyclic, right? And it's how, as we learn, what we're looking at the foundational mechanisms, right? And then, we get maybe a glimpse of this or a glimpse of that, and it could even be as much as the exercise and calming those emotional components of ourselves, the emotional waters when we get stirred up or triggered, or life presents its freaking upheavals. Like, okay, you thought you were doing this, guess what? Now you're driving down the road, right? To the hospital. These, when we're looking at that, the cyclic aspect, and this is something when we all have these beautiful seeds of wisdom that we carry within us. Okay, we can activate this, we can choose to develop it, we can choose to journey within, um, we can step into the flow. It's always in the moment. I mean, how many of these phrases? I mean, there's two titles that I've just given in an entire, YouTube channel called In the Moment. Each and every breath, each and every moment has a chance to propel us forward. It can also hold us back if we choose it to be. It's stepping in and recognizing um, life in its totality, death in its totality, or death in its totality, and life in its totality. How would you like to view it? These are, it's that field, that magnetic resonance, even around our bodies. We have it. The planet has it. This field, this etheric field, is where yeah, life is. Everything is, right? This is all energy. And our thoughts and our emotions are energy. Our intent is energy. And so, very briefly, what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of talk a little bit about working with um, uh, light, okay? Working with the golden light, to be precise. Um, so, what do you think about that one, Diana?
Yes, 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 yes. It's a very um, lightening experience, and by that I mean like weight. It's light. It's very light.
Okay. So when we're speaking about, because these are, you know, seeds in the wind, right? Now think about this, and I'm going to put
Mm.
quite a few different scenarios together for you to
Mm.
stimulate the thought processes and what you can call back. Because what we're going to do is we're actually going to intend on calling some of the energy that we've kind of like thrown out there in the world or thrown up in the world, and I mean literally thrown up, right? I mean, come on, really? I mean, think about a time you've had a fight with a spouse, or you're going through a divorce, and well, maybe you didn't behave very well when you were at the court, um, all of these things, or you got a bad grade in school, and it's all of those thoughts. It's no different. We've discussed the different mechanics in many of the other segments, whether it's clearing energy in the house or whatever. This is pretty much along the same lines. You can do it in a meditation. You can do it just through thought. You can do it, in a quiet moment. You can literally do it driving down the road if you choose, as long as you pay attention to the road, right? Um,
Have done.
yeah. Um, so you can think back. How about you can look at it as, okay, any event or any experience that each of us have had, good, bad, or indifferent. Okay, and I'm using those terms in a grand generality. Okay, think about some of the good times, like maybe when you were at a concert and you were like totally, excited. You're at a barbecue, you spent the day at the beach, and you enjoyed your family, went swimming, or you're out on a boat fishing. All of those beautiful and good times. Okay, um, think about some of those. I'm just trying to stimulate some ideas for others. How about some of the things where maybe you had an argument with a sibling, or there was a misunderstanding, or you totally misevaluated a situation at work. You got yelled at. You got demoted. Uh, could be drama
You
and
woke up on the morning of your fifth birthday.
yeah, drama and traumas, all of those things that created these negative experiences. Okay, this is what we're going to work with: the good, the bad, the ugly, the good, the bad, and then right in between. Our skin cells are constantly being sloughed off, just like hair follicles drop. I mean, do you ever watch what is it, what is that one where they uh forensic files or something, right?
Oh,
Yeah, where they kind of check out all the forensics. Well, our energy, our thoughts, our emotions do the exact same thing. So what you can do is you can focus on one, two, three, or 10 of them. You can do it in different periods, like from 0 to 10, from 11 to 20, from 21 to 30. However, do it all at once. You can even do this for those past lives. Um, for those who work with that or believe in it or whatever, we're looking at karma. That we're going to bring all of that karma when you went to a concert when you were 20 years old and got drunk, right? Whatever that may be. Um, so there's so many different facets to this. So all you're going to do is you're just going to sit just quietly, just peacefully for just a moment and recall a couple of them. You know, name a couple bad ones, name a couple good ones. Let's keep a nice little balance with this, and some that are just like random, right? Recall that memory, recall that anger, that frustration, that emotional component. And then all you're going to do is you're going to call it to yourself. You're going to call that energy back. You own it. Be accountable for it. Clean up your own mess, good, bad, or indifferent, right? So that it's not out there constantly infecting someone else, right? Call that energy back. And then you can send it down to Mother Earth. And you can just do this with an intent. Say, here's a present. Take it, transform it, transmute it, utilize it for energy or food or nutrients, and Mother Earth will do that. Gaia will do that. Um, and then, what you do is you call in the golden light. It's the light from above. You can envision it as gold. You can envision it as light. You can envision it as alive, golden light, vital, vibrant, and send that or ask that to be directed to every place that you have drawn that energy from. When you've drawn that energy to you, then send that healing, loving, gorgeous, vibrant, golden light to fulfill those voids from once you called that back. And guess what? Just like Ryan says, you might have some nasty energy being put out into the water, those droplets, right? And then there's the other ones. Which ones carry more vitality? Think about it. And is that of spirit. So this beautiful, loving, golden energy is a healing energy. I mean, think of anything that you've ever experienced that perhaps maybe didn't feel too well. Um, like the time when my mother had passed. I recall that, and it's like, wow, man, I totally screwed up with that one. So I'll draw that energy back, that memory back, because in this way, guess what? That energy, once you grab a hold of it, once that energy you're accountable for, guess what? It can no longer carry the same charge and create dissonance and discord and hurt in your life. Oh my. Think about that. Think about what was just said. You can bring that accountability. Now, this is done through imagination. Can we prove it? Well, try to prove it for yourself. Try it in your own life. So, Diana, think about, do you remember the first time you worked with it? And then the second time, do you remember what that felt like? Did it feel a little bit foreign at first? And then afterwards, did it feel a little easier? What was your experience when you worked with that?
With mine, it's as you were describing it to me, I was just right there with you the very first time, following the steps as you were telling me. And even just now, while we were sitting here, I was doing the same thing, going back into a different memory that I hadn't already pulled up or thought of.
Yep.
And it was it was like lightening my load.
Yeah.
because we're carrying all of this stuff with us, and those emotions. That's why they call them heavy emotions.
Uh-huh.
Or they are heavy, and we can lighten that load, and no longer require carrying it. You know, and so yeah, that's what it felt like. I was lightening my load, and I was just sitting here doing that, even again.
Yes,
Every
it's a constant thing. It's like taking a shower. What, do you take a shower once in your life and think you're good to go? It's just, it's constant. It's kind of like, because with all the experiences we've had in life. All right, so I'm not thinking about something that I did when I was 10 right now, but maybe later tonight I will. And it's like, that those synapses get fired in your head, or, oh, somebody says something, you go, oh yeah, by the way, I remember that. Recognize that even those aspects of when you had the grandest time. Maybe you got married, or your child was born, or somebody bought you some flowers unexpectedly, or whatever those things that have brought you joy. It doesn't mean that the joy doesn't still resonate, but the idea is that you still call that back. Why? Because it's yours. It's your joy. When we fill that with the golden light will take and magnify that even more so. And then guess what? It just radiates out. So it's like a candle, right? You light one candle, and then that candle hits another candle, and it gets broader and broader and broader, just like the one drop of water, right? Is it insignificant? No, it all adds apart. And as more of these droplets and more of these energies start getting cleared up, could you imagine what this world would look like if all of us truly decided to do it as an intention circle, right? And send that golden light after we've called all that energy back to us, and then we're accountable for it. It's like, hey, there were times I wasn't very happy about something, and I bitched, moaned, and complained, or yelled, or kids, whatever, got my goat. I mean, this is life. And
right,
instead of beating ourselves up because we did this, or somebody, or parents, or somebody else told us we weren't good enough, or wasn't up to, we didn't live up to their expectations, all of these stupid little things don't have to remain out there, because energy continues in that cyclic motion. So that energy back in the 1980s, when we were all there listening to Fleetwood Mac at a concert, okay, that energy goes out, and then what comes right on back. All right. Okay. Well, I'm not going to tell you about Fleetwood Mac.
yeah. But the thing is,
Or
what
the Who.
in playing on that analogy that you said of us sloughing off skin cells, I think of a lot of stuff. It has taken millennia to actually make the cosmic consciousness as polluted
Yeah.
as it has been by all of the energy that we have put out there, all of the negativity, and it has been ramping and ramping and ramping, and then feeding back down to us, and then we're actually tapping into that, and it's just and adding to it again. So we're magnifying the negativity
Yes.
when we have this choice, this conscious choice to do what you're talking about, and take what we have perhaps in an unconscious state when we were not aware, pull back all of that negativity and all of those other situations, transmute it, and replace it with this beautiful gold. So we're going back and we're patching,
Yes.
in different places of the cosmic consciousness, and
Yes.
it's going. Quit sticking in my hair.
That was weird.
It was coming forward with me, wasn't it? But the thing is that it's we have this ability. The intention circle does that, but we can do it privately in our everyday lives.
Yes.
And this mechanism that you've given actually helps us to do that. And our own personal part of the emotional pollution before
Yep.
we learned to drive an electric car.
Yeah. And you know what? Think about, you can also think of it this way. all of those experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, dramas and traumas, guess what? It's like a sneeze, right? An infected sneeze. It's out there and it's just going to linger. And then that sneeze, it gets picked up on the winds, right? Just like the seeds of a dandelion, and it's hanging out there. Call it back, man. Clean up your mess, people. Clean up the mess. and fill it with grace and beauty and love, and that's the golden light. It's got that resonance with it, and it anchors,
Yes.
and it
Yes,
constantly sends those signals. So as people walk by, now think about this. You go in and you clean up that energy, like from say watching a concert like Fleetwood Mac or something like that, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Think about that energy, that golden light that remains there. And then as other people come in, oh my, could you imagine what would happen if one of those stadiums was with, well, a political figure? Rah rah sis kumbah. Guess what? That energy that's there has that capacity to tone down some of the rhetoric. Oh my my my. Perhaps people won't get so riled. Oh my. These are how these are some of the end results that can occur, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, think about it. Use your imagination. I mean, Diana, you literally used your imagination and stepped into that intuitiveness when you sat on your front steps, right? And you were so filled with love, and you felt that when it was like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to send that love out and let the wind take it and carry where it should be. It's no different. You were literally tuning in. And this is what Cryon speaks about. It's that, it's like that sensory, the sensory of the codes of the field. Wake up, people. It's alive. It's vibrant. And here's a way to work with it. Paul, you've been silent. We've really monopolized this whole thing.
Hey.
Oh no. Come on.
No, I'm going to put something out there, and I want people to really, really think about this, okay? First thing I'm going to bring up is the laws of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only change form. So now I want you to think about this.
I love you, Paul.
Any action that you have done in the past, you can't go back and change that action, but the intent that was with that action, that energy that was with that action is still out there. That energy is still out there, and you can pull that energy back and you can change that intent. You can make it something new, something different. You can change the form of it. If it was a bad intent, you said that action is always going to be there. It's something that was done, and people are going to remember that. But now, that energy that went with it, you can bring that energy back, and you can transmute it. You can change it into something positive. I'm in an area that the area that I'm in, there's a lot of negative energy, lots of negative energy. And there's this one old woman that drives by, and every day she won't even acknowledge me. I'm walking my little pup. I always wave, and she's just okay. And now, over time, there's been a few times where she's
half a wave.
And now, when she drives by,
see.
okay, now I want you to think about this, because now, wherever it was as she goes, she was always going there. I can just imagine the people that she was interacting with. Now she's going there with, maybe the interactions are better. And if those interactions are better, that is transmuting that energy into something positive. Go ahead, Diana.
I'm sorry. It's just that you brought something to me, and they're slapping me upside my head until I say it. Um, when what you just discussed is tantamount to what has actually happened. Think of a time when we knew our neighbors. Think of a time when we would actually go out of our way for other people,
Mhm.
and all of this sort of stuff, and how the when I said that the pollution is gathering and gathering and gathering and gathering, and it's taken millennia to get us to this point, when we're blindly looking at what we are in right now and forgetting that we can be as we were when we knew our neighbors, and we waved at people and smiled, and we
Yes.
it's it is a conscious choice. But so many people just aren't recognizing that they
Yes.
have that ability.
And with that, with what we have been talking about, the seeds in the wind, the sunshine, the joy, I have something to read.
Ah, yes.
Magical rhymes and butterflies, a rhythm I feel throughout thyself, answering the whys and goodbyes. Mystery, we believe, cloaked in disguise, putting our problems on a shelf. Magical rhymes and butterflies. All I needed was to open my mind's eyes and see beyond me as self, answering the whys and goodbyes. For the sunshine is bright and wise, greater than anything on the bookshelf. Magical rhymes and butterflies. No need for a reward or grand prize. I have all I need from self, answering the whys and goodbyes. For self is more than the thoughts of one size. For spirit rises to the universal shelf. Magical rhymes and butterflies, answering the whys and goodbyes.
Oh my goodness, Paul, that was beautiful.
And butterflies, so transformative. That's what they are.
Yes,
Your transformation. Oh
they
my.
are.
I do this with our intention circle oftentimes, and I do it on for myself because this is me calling down my I am presence in me, with me, around me, and for me. Magnified from me, I'm going to do this. And this is my own manifestation that I'm going to put up in this intention circle that the three of us have right now, from daytime to nighttime and all time between, from hither to yonder, divine, where all will live in the light of grace. This world full of love is where we'll reside. Compassion, understanding is where all abide. These words I send forth, this spell I do cast, for all of our highest and all of our best. With frequency, rhythm, harmony, I create this splendid change in which to vibrate. I send this out on the winds right now. This is our seed. This is my seed.
Ah. So all three of us, we just invite each and every one of you to truly recognize those beautiful gifts and talents and the wisdom that you carry. Send it out, share it, plant those seeds, plant it. You get a chance. I posted it down there. I know Paul's got it up because we did play that segment of Cryon, which is
Yeah, it's
that channels.
in the description.
Yep, that channels Cryon of magnetic service. And again, a foundational aspect. It might just be profound. It might be elementary, but there's many different segments, and there's people are searching for quite the answers to certain questions, you never know. You might find something in there. It doesn't mean he's for everybody, but there's information there. Enjoy that, you know. It's just another resource. Um, I honestly, it's truly been an honor to be a part of this, and Paul has made it happen. You know, he truly has, and you know, he's gonna, you know, take that break. I mean, he's taking a break from this, and then he's gonna be probably working harder than you think. Yeah,
Ladies.
yeah, yeah. And we just have him, you know, Diana and I have him accountable because every Sunday we look forward to our next segment, our next chapter from his book. Yes. So
Which actually, you know, I do that not, and I don't want this to come across in a wrong way. I don't do this
Right.
for you guys. I do this for me because if I have, hear me out. If I set myself to where, hey, Sunday, they have to have a finished chapter.
yeah.
This guarantees that I'm going to be in here writing
Writing. And we get a finished
because
chapter.
I am writing more chapters and fine tuning the one I'm going to read for you.
Mhm.
So it encourages me to write. So, like I said, and not that I mind, I enjoy the two of you listening to me read. It's a little boost to my ego, yes, but I also get critiques, so I need that. So it's definitely thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yep. And you're also getting it from somebody that doesn't care for the genre. I just don't read it. I love it. I
No,
really do. Yeah. So I must say, you know, it's it's like both Diana and Paul have kind of led me into this fictional aspect. I love it.
Fantasy fiction is my favorite, and that's what you're writing, and it's right up my alley. I've written my own book on the same.
Yeah,
Genre.
exactly.
The thing that when you were discussing Cryon, I'm just going to confess to everyone, and perhaps somebody will identify with this. When I heard the name Cryon,
Mhm.
all I could think of is Superman's stepfather or something. You know, this is the way the name sounded, very fictional. And then I found out that in Turkey, this is not a uncommon type of name. You know, it's not that it's in other cultures, you know, it really is not uncommon. So I sat there and I opened up to receiving what Cryon was discussing. And you will find that you'll find resonance. I did. I found resonance with it. So when you listen to Cryon, open up a little bit. Just allow, and see what resonates with you.
Yeah,
Um,
there's
that's
so many different
this
segments. You know, maybe there's
right.
something else that you're
Absolutely.
drawn to. You know, I just
Absolutely.
I just pulled this one out because it was a foundational aspect of seeds. You know, the DNA, and now let's work with some of it. You know,
Mhm.
so
and
My
just
favorite.
know not everything is going to work for each and every person. Find what does work for you. And as long as you
Mhm.
continue to spread that joy and happiness, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. My favorite part of all of the Cryons is when he talks about the fact um, that they're not there to be over us.
no,
We're not here to be under them and look up and you know and live in fear, the fear of God. We've been taught that. We've been taught that. A lot of us have been taught that our whole lives. That's not the case. We are here with every angel, with every star, with every planet. We are here with every person who has mastered everything about spirituality. We're here because we are all equally of the same creator.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I get impassioned
And
and
so
myself
and,
flushing.
and so
I
with that,
love it.
right before we close, very briefly, I'm going to put out a very intense, very short intention circle. And the intention circle is this. Breathe in, bring that focus out, that beauty, the love, plant those seeds. This is the intent. Take that love, that beauty, that in that magnificence of everything that each and every one of you are. Take that and breathe that out into this beautiful world of this field of energy, whether it be integrity, compassion, understanding, whatever it may be. Maybe there's something you focus on working on. Send it out there. Plant those seeds. Do it now. If it didn't work in the past, it will work now. Plant them. Water them. This is the beauty and the grace that is sent forth. Blessings abundant and expansion of this beautiful light source energy, and call that gorgeous golden light down. Bring it down upon the earth. And it has its magnificence of healing and beauty and grace. And with that, it is done. It is finished. It is so. Aho.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everybody. Remember, be kind, be happy, and may good things come your way. Thank you.
Thank you.